Hey, church family. There's a great Old Testament story of God providing for his servant Elijah. It's found in 1 Kings 17, and it took place during a time of drought and famine. It's there that we're told that the word of the Lord came to Elijah. Leave here, turn eastward, and hide in the Kerith ravine, east of the Jordan. You'll drink from the brook, and I've directed the ravens to supply you with food there. So Elijah did what the Lord had told him. He went to the Kerith ravine, east of the Jordan, and he stayed there. The ravens brought him bread and meat in the morning, and bread and meat in the evening, and he drank from the brook. It's a wonderful story of the way in which God provided for his servant until he didn't. What I mean by that is we read the very next verse and we're told that sometime later the brook dried up because there'd been no rain in the land. All of which begs the question, what do you do when God's provision seems to have disappeared? God had used the brook to sustain Elijah, and now the means God had used to provide for his servant had dried up. Maybe you're in the same position today. God's provided a stream of income for you through a certain form of work. The work you've done, the business you've pursued, that has been your brook. But now the brook is drying up. What was working before isn't working now. What do? One lesson we can learn from Elijah's experience is to trust the God who provides, not necessarily the means that he uses for that provision. God has more than one way of supplying what you need. When one means of supply dries up, God will provide another. And what we learn here is to trust the God who provides, not his means of supply. If you've had a stable and steady job for 5 or 10 or 20 years, it's easy to get the idea that the job is what provides for you. But that's not true. It's God who provides for you. He may do that through the job, and if that stream dries up, he'll provide for you in another way. In the next verse in our story, we're told, "Then the word of the Lord came to Elijah. Go at once to Zarephath in the region of Sidon and stay there. I've directed a widow there to supply you with food." God used the brook that dried up to move Elijah on to the next place where God would provide for him. And I pray that if there are any brooks in your life that have gone dry or are drying up, instead of panicking, you'd turn to God, you'd seek his direction, and you trust in him to lead you to the next place of provision that he has for you. Remember, this brook that is going dry isn't the end of your story. It's just the transition to the next chapter of God's provision in your life. Amen.